I was tempted, tempted by your smile. I was tempted.
Yep, that's me. Nope, not the human. A little speck of wonder on her wrist. I've been assigned the important task of tracking her sleep.
Sorry, I know solo hacking can send you a bit loopy, but I'm pretty sure my watch doesn't possess the ability to narrate videos.
Well, that's a bit rude. I can do a lot of things you don't know about. Like fast forward time to tomorrow morning. You guessed it, you slept like sleep shit. And now you have to hike another 6 hours today, shove caffeine and M&Ms into your body and expect it to keep up. You'll then return home from your trip wondering why your time spent in nature wasn't completely restorative.
I've been interested in sleep science ever since I discovered this book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, a professor of neuroscience at the University of California, Berkeley. Everybody agrees that sleep is good for you, but I feel we don't truly understand what that means, and we continue to live our lives in the sleep-deprived society that we are. But how could we know? We were never educated. I loved this book so much that it completely derailed my ability to pick up on social cues. I won't stop talking about it regardless of whether you're interested or not.
Did you know that the average optimal temperature for sleep is 18.3 degrees Celsius? Did you know that to successfully initiate sleep, your core temperature needs to decrease by about 1 degree Celsius? Wait, I learned something, let me tell you!
So in a few of these tips, I'll be weaving in some of Dr. Walker's research and findings and applying it to a hiking and backpacking context. Okay, you can rewind time, take us back to our hike.
I can't rewind time, that was just for dramatic effect. What am I, a timekeeping device?
If you've been hiking before, you'll already know this, and if you're new to hiking, you would have quickly figured this out. But just in case your logical thinking is impaired after a day of hiking, here is your reminder that you're going to want to pick a flat site and remove any obvious sticks and stones and rogue pine cones that may dig into you during the night. If your site is not entirely flat, remember to set yourself up so that your head will be higher than your feet, because we don't want any excessive blood flow to the head. In regards to sleep, storing your food and any other scented items correctly is for the purpose of minimizing any disturbances during the night from the local furry citizens, because sleep is not just about the quantity, but quality. So double check for snack wrappers, crumbs, and a lost M&M sole in the zips of your pack. They will find it. Thankfully in Australia, we don't really have any animals that will maul our faces off during the night in search for food. Maybe a dingo, but even then they prefer to steal human babies over food, so depending on where I am, I will often keep my food and rubbish in my food bag, place it in my pack liner, scrunch up my liner and close off my pack for the night, and leave it under the vestibule of my tent. I've only ever had one occasion where a mouse has chewed through my pack, and that was in New Zealand.
I don't know what the purpose was because there is no hole in my food bag, so you didn't get very far, mate.
Wow, such innovation. You truly are a food storage pioneer.
If you do live in a country where an animal will maul your face off, obviously you do need to adhere to the correct food storage in the area that you're going to.
I'm here to be your absolute favourite person and say don't bother with the alcohol.
Why can I smell Bailey's?
It's just a prop. Now you might be thinking, nah, Haley, a bit of sneaky whiskey on the trail helps me get to sleep. So if you're thinking that, think about this. Our sleep is broken into two main types: REM sleep, rapid eye movement, commonly associated with when we dream, and non-REM sleep, non-rapid eye movement. Non-REM sleep is further broken into 4 stages, stage 1 to 2 being lighter, and stage 3 to 4 being deeper. If you've ever used a watch like mine to track your sleep, you'll get a simple little graph in the morning that roughly indicates your time spent in these stages as you cycle through them during the night. Both types of sleep in all stages are fundamentally important. No one type is more important than the other. So when we bring alcohol into the mix, not only can it fragment our sleep with awakenings that we're not even aware of, but
Alcohol is one of the most powerful suppressors of REM sleep that we know of. When the body metabolizes alcohol, it produces byproduct chemicals called aldehydes and ketones. The aldehydes in particular will block the brain's ability to generate REM sleep. The electrical brainwave state you enter via alcohol is not that of natural sleep.
REM sleep plays a role in emotional processing, memory consolidation, and imagine how less cool you would be if you reduced your opportunities to annoy people with your weird and wacky dreams the next morning.
So last night, I had this dream. There was this blue crayon. It was wearing a tuxedo. It handed me a business card. Did you know that I used to collect business cards? I have about 30,000 in categorized folders. That bit's not part of my dream. Anyway, at some point I think I became a lamp because I was illuminating the business card, but I couldn't quite read what was written on it because lamps can't read. But speaking of illumination,
when the sun goes down, humans have this weird habit of pretending it's still daytime. We flick on those lights in our lounge room, we're on our screens, television, laptops, phones. But when we're hiking, we have been gifted the opportunity to embrace the natural cycles of day and night, just like our early ancestors. The reason why it is so important to embrace darkness when it arrives instead of fighting it is because
The rise in melatonin begins soon after dusk, being released into the bloodstream. Melatonin simply provides the official instruction to commence the event of sleep.
using lights after dark can delay the release of melatonin, therefore delaying the timing of our sleep. And you only need a teeny tiny amount of light, especially blue light, for this to affect you.
we're talking like a lamp. Wow, so this really does tie into my dream after all. Did you get all that?
So what can we do? Again, as hikers, we really are in the optimal situation here. There is no need to scroll on your phone when you can bask in the lunar glow of the night sky. And I'd suggest try and have all your tasks done before it gets dark. And when you do have to switch to your head torch, get a head torch that has a red light. Your campsite buddies will also appreciate this.
Now, there isn't much of a link to suggest that a clean body can significantly help you get to sleep or impact the quality of your sleep, but I would like to suggest that it promotes a feeling of comfort. And if we're hiking for multiple days on end, we're going to want to seek all the comfort we can get. But more importantly, going to bed cleaner is going to protect your sleeping bag from the dirt, body oils, and bacteria. And it's the buildup of these dirt and oils over time that affects the lofting power of our sleeping bags. We'll talk about temperature in a moment, but on a cold night, we want our sleeping bags to be performing to their utmost lofting abilities. For most of us, a hiking version of clean usually just means a little bird bath with a cloth and some water. I have these little light load towels that come compressed, and once you add water to them, they expand. I use one for a trip, chuck it in the washing machine when I get home, and just keep reusing it until it falls apart. So I probably have a lifetime supply. We cannot do a video on sleep without talking about our sleep system. This is where we can really mitigate our comfort and temperature.
Thermal environment, specifically the proximal temperature around your body and brain, is perhaps the most underappreciated factor determining the ease with which you will fall asleep tonight, and the quality of sleep you will obtain.
If you are hiking in cooler temperatures, it is important to take note of the R value of your sleeping pad. The higher the R value, the better insulated off the ground you will be. Some would say this is more important than the temperature rating of your sleeping bag. For reference, this closed-cell foam mattress from THRU is my main hiking mattress because I do a lot of my hiking in every season but winter. It has an R value of 2, which is better than nothing but still quite low. In comparison, a mattress like the THRU Neo Air X Lite has an R value of 4.5, but you can definitely go higher. I actually just bought the Neo Air ready for some hiking and non-hike camping that I'll be doing in the USA, mainly because this one would have taken up a third of my suitcase. If you've never hiked with a pillow before, I implore you to do so. I used to just sleep on a jacket because this is my pillow at home. My pillow is so thin, I really didn't think I needed a pillow.
Wait, so you willingly slept on a jacket? Are you okay?
One day I evolved into a normal functioning human and bought a Sea to Summit Eros ultralight pillow and could not believe the difference it made in terms of comfort. I really do believe that you wake up less when you have a good pillow. There is no science there, but I'm willing to be a participant for that study. And when they release their findings, they're going to call it Haley's Law of Pillow. Restorative sleep is directly proportional to the quality of one's pillow, mathematically expressed as S equals P times K, where S equals restorative sleep, P equals pillow quality, measured in height and fluffiness units, and K, Haley's constant, a variable influenced by caffeine intake, Netflix habits, and fun facts from your brain at 2 a.m. I now use the Hyperlight Mountain Gear stuff sack pillow, which stores my camp clothes during the day, and at night I turn it inside out to expose the soft fleece and chuck a piece of clothing in there. I like this because it kind of more resembles my pillow at home, and it's a multi-purpose bit of gear. So get a pillow, there are all different types out there, don't be afraid to try a few out and see which one suits you best. When it comes to sleeping on a hike, I'm pretty sure most of us are trying to keep warm as opposed to keep cool. Your hands, feet, and also your head act as thermal windows, meaning they're the key areas where heat can escape or be retained, as they are littered with blood vessels close to the skin's surface. You might have noticed when you get hot while sleeping, you stick a leg out. You do this so your foot can help expel heat from your core. When trying to keep warm, remember to check the comfort rating of your sleeping bag. This means if the temperature gets down to that level, you can still be comfortable. Your sleeping bag's job is to simply trap the heat from your body, which is why it helps to keep your sleeping bag clean so it can loft up and fully perform this job. I always use a sleeping bag liner to help protect my bag, but a liner can also help with a little bit of warmth. I personally always sleep in a thermal top and thermal bottoms, and usually a beanie on my head, but I do find it too uncomfortable to sleep in any kind of socks. But if you keep your head, hands and feet in mind, they'll take care of your core temperature. Alrighty team, welcome to the tent. In my normal non-hiking life, I've always struggled a little bit to get to sleep. It used to take me about 2 hours every single night, and that was even before phones. Like, smartphones didn't exist when I was growing up, thank God. But even as a baby, my brother was the golden child who could sleep, and I was the annoying baby who would never sleep unless I was rocked. I'm just putting that down to being a pirate in a past life, needing the gentle sway of the ocean to fall asleep. But now I have got that down to about 45 minutes each night if I follow my strict bedtime routine, which includes putting on blue bokeh glasses, diffusing my room with lavender, timing my shower, reading a book, sometimes listening to a sleep story specifically told in second person. Once I get to sleep, I can usually stay asleep pretty well, but when I'm hiking, almost the opposite happens. I can fall asleep in about half an hour, which is lightning speed for me, and I think that's just due to sheer physical exhaustion of hiking and filming. But then I will tend to wake up more during the night when I'm hiking, and I would say that's due to the subconscious spookies.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
That rustling.
It's just the wind.
You know they can mimic sounds, right?
I'm ignoring you now.
2 recently published reports suggest humans have a very mild version of unihemispheric sleep. If you bring that person into a sleep laboratory or take them to a hotel, both of which are unfamiliar sleep environments, one half of the brain sleeps a little lighter than the other, as if it's standing guard with just a tad more vigilance due to the potentially less safe context that the conscious brain has registered while awake.
When nighttime sets in, so too does the task of mind management. Nighttime is an extremely loud place. In Australia, for example, you'll discover that koalas are the truest form of the devil. Kangaroos jumping around your campsite sounds like some deep bass pogo stick championships. I've had wild brumbies run through my camp, so close to my tent that they pulled the guy line out of the dirt. You've got owls hooting away, pretending like they're not undercover aliens. And that's only the animals. But you can't curse that hyper-awareness too much. It's a survival instinct, and it's the reason we are still here today. My 2 suggestions here is to know that due to atmospheric conditions, sound likes to come down to the ground instead of dissipate upwards. The cooler night air lets sound travel further and feel louder. Secondly, the more you camp at night, the better you'll get at identifying what these sounds might be.
Psst, can you tell them about me now?
You guys like my new watch? Perhaps this whole time you thought this video was about my obsession with this book, which it is, but it's also been a tool of disguise to introduce you to my new watch. This watch was gifted to me by Coros. It's the Apex 2 Pro. And you know, I'm pretty sure giving a watch a personality and making it talk is exactly what they envisioned when they sent this to me. So I better actually just say a few things on it before they fully regret their decision. It's like a proper badass sports watch. There's stuff on here I haven't even got to yet. In a hiking context, you can load maps onto it and use it to help navigate. It's got sunset and sunrise times, which might help you make some decisions with your timing. You can track your hike, which is something I love to do to see how many kilometers I've got left or hours I've done. Coros have got their own workout library, so you can load programs onto it or make your own. And guess what else it does?
Don't say it. Please don't say it. The most obvious joke you could make about a smartwatch.
It tells you the weather.
Come again?
I get lots of enjoyment from talking about the weather. Unfortunately, it doesn't talk to you in the same way that I've demonstrated in this video, but if you are getting a good sleep, then your creativity will be at its highest, so you too can fabricate an imaginary friend out of your watch. A question that pops into my head on a regular basis as I'm trying to fall asleep is, have I completed my Year 12 English exam? I don't remember any quotes from Year of Wonders by Geraldine Brooks, yet alone remember how to write an essay. What on earth am I going to do? To which the answer is yes, Hayley, you have completed the exam. That was 13 years ago, and for the record, you did well. I'm delighted to learn of such information, but seemingly forget this, and in a few months' time, I'll start thinking about it all over again.
I'm alluding to the phenomenon of when you are lying down trying to get to sleep, but you can't due to those random shower thoughts that miss their cue of the actual shower and decide to show up when you're trying to fall asleep instead.
If you can't fall asleep, here is the best advice.
Don't lie in bed awake. If you find yourself still awake after staying in bed for more than 20 minutes, or if you are starting to feel anxious or worried, get up and do some relaxing activity until you feel sleepy. The anxiety of not being able to sleep can make it harder to fall asleep.
In our case, maybe read a book with your red light. Maybe pop out of your tent for a moment of stargazing. Do some light stretching in your tent. Or play some solo solitaire with that deck of cards you brought. So I was editing this video thinking, how am I going to tie this video all together without blabbering more at your face? And then I thought, why not do a good old-fashioned giveaway? I do own multiple copies of this book because I bought a few copies and was giving them to my friends as a way of saying, I care about you, please read this book. So if you live in Australia, sorry to everybody else, but if you live in Australia, comment down below why we sleep and I'll do a draw and you could win this book. Not this one's a bit mangy, but a new one that's in the cupboard. Other than that, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.
And I was wearing a tuxedo. He handed me a business card.